In a quiet village surrounded by golden fields and whispering winds, there lived an old man who owned a small wooden house near the river. People in the village knew him as a man of few words but deep thoughts. His face carried the marks of time, and his eyes carried stories that no one ever asked about. The old man had a son. His son was young, strong, and full of energy, but there was one problem that worried the father every single day. The boy was careless with his life. He spent his mornings sleeping, his afternoons wandering without purpose, and his nights talking loudly with friends near the tea shop. He believed life would move on even if he wasted a few hours here and there. The father often sat near the window watching his son leave the house with no plan, no goal, and no responsibility. Sometimes he wanted to speak, but words felt heavy inside his chest. He knew lectures would not change the boy. He needed a lesson, not a speech. One morning, the father opened the old wooden cupboard in his room. Inside, wrapped carefully in a small cloth, was a watch. It was an old silver watch with a broken strap but a shining glass cover. The father picked it up slowly as it was holding something alive. He called his son softly. The boy came lazily, rubbing his eyes and looking bored. "Yes, father." The father handed him the watch. "Take this watch to the market," the father said. "Show it to people and ask them how much they think it is worth." The boy was surprised. "Just the watch?" "Yes," the father replied. The boy did not question further. He took the watch and walked toward the village market. The market was busy as usual. Sellers were shouting, children were running, and people were bargaining over vegetables and clothes. The boy showed the watch to the first man he met. "How much do you think this watch is worth?" The man looked carefully and said, 500 rupees. The boy walked further. Another man said, "It looks old, maybe 1,000 rupees. Someone else said, 800, not more than that. Every person gave a different price. Some said 500, some said 700, some said 1,000. None of them agreed. The boy felt confused. He had expected one fixed price, but life seemed more complicated than he thought. He returned home and told his father everything. The father listened quietly and said, "Good. Now put the watch back in the cupboard." The boy did as he was told. The next day, the father called his son again. This time the boy felt even more curious. The father handed him the same watch. "Go to the market again," the father said. "But this time, do not ask the price of the watch." The boy waited. "Then what should I ask?" "Ask people how much they think the time inside this watch is worth." The boy was confused. "How can I ask the price of time?" he thought. But he obeyed. He went to the market again and approached people. "How much is the time inside this watch worth?" People looked at him strangely. One woman laughed and said, "Go home and sleep. You are asking foolish questions." A young man said, "Time is free. Why would anyone buy time?" An old man shook his head and said, "You cannot sell time. Time is not a thing." Some people ignored him completely. The boy felt embarrassed. His cheeks turned red. He wanted to hide the watch and go home. Finally, he saw a small watch repair shop near the corner of the street. An old man with white hair was working quietly, fixing a broken clock. The boy walked inside slowly. "Sir, how much is the time inside this watch worth?" The old man stopped working. He looked at the boy carefully. There was kindness in his tired eyes. He smiled slowly and said, "Sit down, son." The boy sat on a small wooden chair. The shop was quiet. The sound of ticking clocks filled the air like heartbeat rhythms. The old man said, "Son, you cannot put a price on time." The boy listened silently. "You can pay millions of rupees," the old man continued, "but you cannot buy even 1 second of your life back once it passes." The boy felt something strange in his chest. The old man continued speaking gently. Time has two faces. One is cruel, and one is kind. The cruel side of time is that it keeps moving even if you cry, even if you beg, even if you wish to stop it. The kind side of time is that it gives everyone the same amount every day. Rich people cannot buy more hours. Poor people cannot be given fewer hours. Everyone wakes up with 24 hours. What matters is not how much time you have, but how you use it. The boy asked quietly, "Sir, why do people waste time then?" The old man sighed. Because time looks free. But freedom is dangerous when people do not understand value. He pointed at the watch in the boy's hand. This watch is just metal and glass. But inside this watch is something priceless. It is life. The boy felt his eyes becoming moist. The old man continued, "You can lose money and earn it again. You can break relationships and sometimes fix them. But time is different. Once a moment leaves you, it never returns." The boy stayed silent for a long time. Outside, children were playing. A street vendor was shouting. A dog barked somewhere far away. But inside the shop, it felt like the world had stopped. The boy spoke softly. "Sir, I waste my time every day." The old man did not judge him. He only said, "Then start respecting your tomorrow by using your today wisely. Life is not about counting days. Life is about making days count." The boy thanked the old man and left the shop. He walked slowly toward his home, thinking about everything he had heard. The village looked different that day. The sky looked deeper. The wind felt softer. The sounds of people felt meaningful. He reached home and told his father everything. The father listened quietly. There were tears in the father's eyes, but he was smiling. He placed his hand on his son's shoulder. "I was waiting for this day," the father said. The boy asked, "Father, why did you make me do this?" The father said, "Because I was afraid of losing you to empty days. I wanted you to understand that life is not measured by how long you live, but by how deeply you live." That day something changed inside the boy. He started waking up early. He helped his father in the fields. He read books at night. He reduced his wandering. He started thinking about his future. The villagers noticed the change. Some said the boy had grown mature. Some said he had become responsible. But the father knew the truth. The boy had learned the language of time. Years passed. The father grew old. One evening the boy, now a man, sat beside his father near the window. The father was weak and breathing slowly. The man held the old silver watch in his hand. "Father," he said softly, "I still have this watch." The father smiled faintly. "Do you understand its value now?" The man nodded. "Yes." Silence filled the room. Outside, the sun was setting like a burning orange flower touching the horizon. The father said slowly, "Remember, son, the watch is not important. The time inside it is." The man held his father's hand tightly. That night, the father closed his eyes peacefully. The silver watch was placed on the wooden table beside him, quietly ticking like a heartbeat that would never stop telling the story of life. And the man understood one final truth. Money can be earned again. Lost opportunities may sometimes return, but lost time travels forever into silence. So never treat time like something ordinary, because the price of a watch can be counted, but the value of time can only be felt in a heart that knows it is living. And somewhere in the village, the wind still carried the lesson of the old man who knew that life is nothing but a beautiful moment walking quietly toward eternity.